Praise and Production.
Here with Dave Stevens, the amazing Dave Stevens, producer, songwriter, musician, comedian,
singer.
actor,
He be singing.
singer,
didn't know.
singer.
Man, this is crazy. It's like
The list.
The what is it? Those old shows where it's like the county sheriff is also the store clerk and the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The pastor and the congregation.
The pastor's also the bailiff.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I saw that much more when I moved to LA. Everybody has their slashes. Actor slash singer slash songwriter slash dancer slash cab driver slash, you know.
Right.
And so after I got here, I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But then I started doing it because, you know, you gotta make money.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I became a producer slash photographer slash musician slash songwriter slash podcaster
Exactly.
slash husband, you know.
Stop. The's something in your beard, and I don't know if it's your hair.
I don't see nothing in my beard. I don't even see something.
See, this is beautiful. And this is what, you know, this is love.
I wanted to make sure that wasn't a booger.
It's not a booger.
And that's really love because she
Right?
picked the mustache.
I did.
she
And
sure
it might
did.
have been a
And it
booger.
Could have been like,
It
you
might
need to
have
take
been-
care of that.
Been a booger.
You got
That's
something.
love. I don't think I would do that for my wife.
I mean, you know, look, I can't have him up on the podcast looking stupid.
Listen, I
can't.
think at one point I do remember doing something. We were standing somewhere and I was talking and I went to wipe something off her face and I was like, why I do that? I would never do that. And then I was looking at my hand like, what am I going to do with it now?
Wait, you did do it though.
You did
The
it.
love
You
took
did do
over.
I did it. I did it.
And then you thought about it later and you were like, why?
Yeah, I'm like,
Why
what am
did
wipe
I
that
what am
stuff
I
off
going
her
to
face?
do with whatever it was?
The wipe of love.
Yeah. Don't watch this, babe, because you'll be mortified.
The wipe of love.
But you did do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, Robin.
Yep,
You did
yep.
it. Anyway.
So,
Robin?
that was pretty cool, though.
I totally blanked out. I was going to say her name, but
David
I knew
Robin.
it was an R.
Yep,
Robin.
shout out to my
So
baby.
Dave is also a fellow Harvard husband.
Yeah.
And we found
This is the whole thing.
we found this out. As a matter of fact, I don't think I knew that until we went to the Thai place.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yo, you
Yeah.
have to have a podcast with the Harvard husband.
We got to do the Harvard husbands.
The real Harvard husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually kind of
That's
cool.
very
That'd be funny. I don't know, yo, because like
I'm going to withdraw from this
in order to
conversation now.
share in that, we'd have
maybe
to.
not. Maybe
But
not.
you know
I'll
what?
have to dig a bit.
Maybe not.
So this
Come
is
home
like
to a cold shoulder.
this is off the topic of music completely, but the conversations we have are so beautiful because just, you know, the way she thinks and all of that kind of stuff, you know, this is going on 30 years. And I still love when she walks in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And that's not to sound all
yeah.
Awesome.
not to sound all sappy, you know, 'cause I'm a man, you know what I'm
Sap
saying?
away.
I'm a man.
We
but,
don't
you know,
mind sap in this house.
That was beautiful.
yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, because the conversations, the intellect, just all those kinds of things. So we can talk on a deeper level than just like, you know, hey, how was your day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was one thing I was attracted to her, you know, even in the very beginning. When
Well, I've tried to spend a little bit of time, even on these episodes, but especially when I'm talking to people, because I love to talk about relationships.
Yeah.
About the idea of a real and, you know, firmly foundationed friendship
Yeah.
with anyone that's kind of in your life. Like, you have to have a real connection. Otherwise, it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
And when you're considering living life with somebody, if you skip that part, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
You're going to find out, I don't really like hanging around you. But when you do, you know what I'm saying? When you can be around somebody all the time and, you know, in the high moments and the low moments, it's like, hey, there's something special about you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Dave is married to a Harvardian. I am married to a Harvardian, and there are other Harvard
there are
husbands.
other of us out there.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I added you to the. We got a text. We got a text chain, bro.
Oh, really?
Well, we support. It's a support group. Yeah. A support group for Harvard husbands. And he's like, yeah, bro, you working on your 5-year plan, bro? You know?
Oh my gosh. Yo, you know what's crazy? So my daughter is like the 2.0 of my wife.
Wow.
And she's actually a little worse.
Ooh,
than,
Lord.
not saying worse,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying.
You did say
But I
worse.
said worse.
More intense.
More intense. Oh my, oh my goodness.
In what way, though? I'm curious.
Yeah,
So she is a type A, gotta have everything done. will tell me when I'm doing something wrong. Just always like, now Robin is not really like that. Robin's cool, but you know, it's in there.
Yeah.
But my daughter is just out there. It's like in there and out there.
Yeah.
So,
How old
Well, that's
is she?
because
she's 16.
with a
Okay.
wife, because I think I go through this with my dad. Like the wife, you got to learn to ebb and flow with the
Yeah,
husband.
fair
You
enough.
can't always be.
Well
But
worded,
daughter,
babe.
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh, the
excuse me,
daughter.
Dad.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so I get that.
Oh my goodness! But we have like a great push and pull. Me and my daughter. She's
Yeah.
like our relationship is crazy. Like
That's what's up.
she busts on me just constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Is she a musician too?
No, she's not. So
Okay.
she
What's she into?
She is straight A student. She's into business.
Nice.
She's trying to start her own international shipping business.
Nice.
She's like really
16?
Yeah. That
Okay.
girl's on the ball. And then she also is dance. She used to dance in the company
Okay.
and all that. And so
Okay.
she cheerleads at the high school and
That's
all
what's
that.
up. Oh, so here's a question, because this is the last segment. Here's a question. As a father,
Mm-hmm.
when did you start to notice the personality of your children start to emerge, right? Because there's a certain point where before that, your kid is just a kid.
Yeah.
Crying, asking for candy or whatever, right? But eventually you start to see particulars. How did that happen with you? Like, what did you see in the different children? How many children you got?
3.
You got 3 kids?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first is
Quayle.
Okay,
he's 19 now.
okay. So when you got Quayle, he's growing up. When did you start to see the things that you now know are like a core part of his personality?
From birth.
Oh,
With that
wow.
one.
Well, wait a minute. How does an infant show personality?
Because he was crazy from day one.
Crazy meaning.
Yeah, like I mean, he was all over the place. But the things that make him crazy are also the things that make him so lovable. 'Cause he's just like fun.
Mhm.
He's into everything. You
Yeah.
know, he's a dude who's gonna always get to the front of the line no matter what. Like
Yeah.
we go to a concert, and it's like, man, I really want to see this art. Son, where are you? I look up and he's at the front,
Wow.
shaking the guy's hand. That's him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's the type guy. Like I'll give you a quick example. We were at a pool party.
Yeah.
He was 1. No,
Yeah.
he was 2. I'm sorry. He was 2. I'm in the pool and he's begging me to let him go. I'm holding him in the pool. So I'm like, fine. So I set him on the on the thing, around the pool, whatever.
The side?
The side.
Okay,
I set him on the side and I was like, okay, I thought he was going to go to his mom. Instead, the dude takes off running and he goes to the 12
Oh,
feet
Lord.
side of the pool. He's laughing, ha, ha, ha. And he
Courageous
goes to
one.
jump in.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
this is at 2?
This is at 2. He can't swim or nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So he goes to jump in. So I'm swimming wildly across the things trying to get to the other end. And so luckily our friend who was there grabbed him right as he was getting ready to jump in. But that's him.
Yeah.
And that is and then he actually also that day punched me in the eye harder than I've ever been hit in my life. And this is a crazy story because I went to pick him up like, hey, man, what did you do that for? But the force of me picking him up and him cocking his hand back. Yo, and trying to explain like.
Did you get a black eye?
No, but it was red and trying to explain to people like, yeah, my baby, 2 years old, punched me in the eye. Like, that sounds so.
Oh, embarrassing.
We're going through some things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so.
So you feel like you saw like distinct personality like right out the gate.
Right out the gate. I knew he
or
was
right
gonna
out the
be-
womb, I guess it would be.
Yeah, because, and then also by like 2 or 3, so he's a filmmaker.
Mhm.
By 2 or 3, he was collecting people's phones. He was trying to record stuff everywhere. He had a CD player,
Wow.
and I'm looking for CDs at the time. And I opened up the drawer, and he had taken everybody's CDs, everybody's phone. So he was saturating himself in music
Oh.
and just all kinds of recording, and so my
Okay.
phone would be filled with videos. So I knew in the beginning. I was
So
like,
when you say taking everybody's phones, meaning he was taking them and recording with them? And,
videoing with them and stuff like that. We got him a camcorder
at
for Christmas.
3?
Man, at 3.
Wow.
At
Okay.
3. So he had learned how to work the CD player. He read before anybody. So like he's one of these
Yeah.
genius kids, but he just was, man, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Wow.
So I mean, is that the case with the other 2 as well? Like you
Yeah,
kind
you
of
could
saw.
tell. Mhm.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because a lot of my conversations with parents, they would usually say later, like 5 or 7, they would start to see particulars come out. And they now know how that tree grew. But at the time, they would just notice little things. And so thinking backwards, they could be like, well, I do remember when he was 6, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But for you started noticing stuff like from jump.
And
with all 3.
With all 3. The
Maybe
youngest,
you're just a very attentive father.
It could be.
Maybe you just picked it all
could
up.
be. I'll take that. But, but no, like the youngest, he was into sports. All he ever used to ask for was sweatpants and what was it? Sweatpants and he used to say soft pants. Soft pants and a basketball or football.
Oh, okay.
So it's every Christmas, every birthday is all he
soft pants and a basketball.
Yep, that's it. Now he's an amazing basketball player, but he's also a genius. Like the dude, that part I didn't see till he got older.
How old is he?
So he's 14 now.
14,
okay.
So I didn't start to see his intellectual stuff until he got older.
How did it come out? Like, how did you see it?
He started asking questions that will always be like, what?
Yeah.
What you say?
Yeah.
Like these deeply thought intellectual questions. And I would be like,
bro, I got a story. So we babysatted for some friends of ours. So Kelley has an alumnus friend and they were going out of town. So they asked us to come watch the kid and the house sit and all that, right?
Yeah.
And somebody agreed, right? I was a little hesitant because I'm like, yo, that little dude don't really know us like that. Right? But we did. It was fun, right? But what's pretty amazing is this is another Harvard wife and Harvard husband, right? So, both of them they're very smart. They're very quick-witted. They're very interesting people individually. You know what I mean? And they kid, bro. This dude is adorable, but he is so smart.
Yes.
One of the things that really blew my mind in particular was, so when you are around a little kid and they doing stuff, saying stuff, and you need to say something to an adult, you kind of do it in the side, maybe we should grab blah, 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 right? You do it as an aside because you don't want to confuse the kid or you don't want them to hear whatever it is. If you're talking about going somewhere, you know what I mean? Trying to work stuff out, right? This dude noticed. And he noticed every time we did that.
He's 5 years old.
Yeah, he's 5 years old. And so we had to do that a lot because there was a lot of stuff that we're figuring out. You know what I mean? This was the first time we'd had that we were with him for such a long time and his parents weren't there. So there's a lot of things we were kind of learning about and we're trying to coordinate. Like we also don't have experience with taking care of a kid all the time either. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little stuff we would have, maybe we should do this for dinner. Maybe we go somewhere, maybe take him to school, whatever, right?
And he caught it.
Dude, every time he would say stuff like, what were you saying to Kelley quietly?
Whoa.
And I'm like, and then I got to think, well, how do I tell him something that I meant to kind of keep secret?
That he wasn't supposed to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to make the kid version of I wasn't talking to you. Because that's, you know what I mean? That's rude, but I didn't know how to do it. And I remembered that both of his parents, they explain stuff to him more than most parents I see. You know what I mean? I've paid attention to parents because I was trying to be mentally prepared as much as I could for when I had kids. So I would pay attention. I also worked with a lot of kids musically and in church and stuff like that. So I would just notice the vibe, in family, whatever. But with him, I noticed that they would explain directly with him. It didn't feel like a kid version. So I'm also like, I don't want to interrupt what they've established in terms of teaching him matter-of-factly. So then I got to figure out how to tell him something that I thought maybe shouldn't go his direction. And he would ask questions that specifically would be different ways of saying that doesn't make sense. Yeah,
he's like, he cutting right through it.
He would say, I think one time he said, I don't understand what that means. And I was like, that's because it didn't make sense. You're right, bro. Like, what I said.
But wait, didn't he say to you, because I think you gave a version that was the kid version. And he said, I don't think that's what you said.
Yeah.
But all right.
Wow.
And we both looked at him like, who is this kid?
So
that's amazing.
We had that. We also had a car ride. We went to go pick him up from school. And it was like the first or maybe second day I think the first day I was in my truck and you were in the car. Mm-hmm. So it was the first day I was in the car with him on the way home from school. And he really missed his parents. So he would often get in those moments, I want my mom, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to comfort. I'm like, your mom ain't here, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Right. So on the second day, I went with Kelley to kind of help a little bit, kind of help diffuse and distract and entertain or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, yo, let me just get him talking about his day. Let me, tell me about your teachers, tell me about that school, you know what I mean? Share with me. And usually that works on kids and adults. If you get them to share stories and stuff like that, they will get immersed in that and forget about whatever was bothering them. So I was asking him questions about, this teacher teaches that, this teacher teaches that. He started talking about math. He loves math. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, tell me what you did in math. And he goes through all the things they did in math. And he started explaining. He was like, but I'm ready for more stuff. I was like, what do you mean? I'm ready for algebra. I was like, what do you know about algebra? And he was like, algebra is, and he correctly defined what algebra is, bro. He was like, algebra is figuring out one term in an equation. And I'm like, what do you know about equations?
At 5. Right? That's great,
It was crazy. And then he started giving us algebra problems.
Yes, he had a lot of fun with that. They were hard.
4 plus X equals 60. And I'm like, are you kidding? And he kept going, bro. It was like 192.
It was like a sport
X.
for him after a while. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was
but that's so dope. And I think that is, you hit on something that I was thinking, because at first I was like, wow, this kid, he's got some social intelligence. And all that. But that's how we did too with our kids. We answered, Robin probably is a little more direct than me. Some of them stuff, I'll be like, hey, I may try to sugarcoat some of the things. Yeah. But she'll come right. I mean, that's her thing, and she'll explain directly to them. So I think all of them are kind of like that too,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It definitely has an impact, because out of the families that I've been close to over the years, it's pretty consistent. The parents that I know that are direct at a level that I would define direct, not just they answer questions, but like they explain at a level that I wouldn't expect to go to a kid. Over time, I kind of got used to it. Yeah. But, I was thinking you always got to give a kid version. Yeah. But I noticed that another family is the Veals, Pebbles and all them. Like, very close friend of mine. She's like an older sister. And I met them when her son, maybe like 5 or 6, something like that. So he's very young, but he could speak and stuff like that. And I would see the two of them talk to their kid over time, and the boy is amazing. Yeah. Even now as an adult, like he's so much more like intuitive and like determined and focused and innovative than a lot of other people his age. Like, there's a lot of things that he's doing in his life. And I was like, man, I wish I would have been as focused as he is, and I'm older than him or whatever. Right. There's definitely something to, pouring out knowledge without reservation, I guess. But as a parent, see, I don't know what you're not saying. So
it's a new style of parenting too. You know what I'm saying? Because our parents didn't
being more direct with the kids.
Yeah, our parents weren't like always completely direct like that.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad was. But my mom was not. You ask her questions, she's gonna go all the way around the block, and you know what I mean. And you don't need to know that anyway.
That's adult business.
Right. Stay in the child's place. And I think Generation X has been like, child place. I need you to grow up a little quicker. So I think you're right. I need you to understand quickly. Yeah. So it's a different thing. But.
Yeah. So how are y'all managing? The thing is, you got 2 teenagers. How old is the youngest?
Youngest is 14. Then my daughter's 16.
14, 16, and 19?
Yep.
That's 3 teenagers.
3 teenagers, yeah.
Whoo, buddy.
Yeah, 19.
I'm surprised you ain't got more grades.
Oh, my God. Yo, the 19-year-old's away in college.
Okay.
And so he's doing his thing out there. Yeah. So, but I mean, they're really good kids. So it's not hard to manage them. It's just hard to manage their schedules. They're so busy, man. Yeah. And my daughter, like I was saying about the business thing, I knew from beginning she was going to be, I always used to say, you're going to be an international business. I already know it.
There it is.
It's just bossy. And, you think I'm your employee already. So.
Dad, I need you to get back to me with the numbers.
She knows how to delegate.
Man.
So 19 is the son. What's the 16-year-old? Is that
daughter?
That's your daughter. Yep. And then you have a 14-year-old son as well? Mm-hmm. So boy, girl, boy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 19-year-old son, 16-year-old daughter, 14-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. What I was going to ask you is how you manage their exposure to like the internet and social media, but they're a little older now. I mean, yeah. So let me think. So if they're in their teens, so 10 years ago would have been 2013. Yeah. So how did you and Robin, I guess, decide on how to manage that? Because, some parents just do whatever, and other parents are, you can't see none of that ever, never.
Yeah.
So how did y'all find the balance that felt healthy to you two for them in terms of their exposure to internet, social media, how people could get access to them as well?
Yeah. We gave them all boundaries and perimeters. And it's like, you can do this up to this, but that's it. You can't watch like, one of them, when he was like 12, he wanted to watch Menace to Society. No, you can't watch it.
Not yet.
And so there were certain things like, you can't do this. Now, when you hit 13, you can do this, but you can't do this.
Yeah.
And we monitor,
So how did you do that if they had devices? Did they have their own personal devices?
They had their personal devices, but I think here again with explanation, like really talking directly to them, we explain to them there's certain things that you're going to see if you go past this, and this is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time they were obedient.
Yeah.
It was like, well, we're not going to, they said this is over here and I don't need to go over here to see.
Right.
Yeah, it's helpful to have good kids. And how old were they when they got devices?
We monitored because they all had their own iPads and stuff like that, but we were always closely monitored. So this was like from when they were really young.
Okay.
So, and even now.
Were they allowed to have their devices away from you? Because you said you closely monitored, but if they're in their room, you can't monitor. So
No. So we kind of knew what they would look at and what they wouldn't, so it was like we could check their history, stuff like that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And then if we caught something that wasn't right, then that's a conversation. Hey, we saw this. Right. This is wrong. We're going to take your device for a little while because you don't know how to control yourself.
Right.
And they hate that. So then they just like, well, I'm not going to look at that. But most of the time, we never found anything.
That's
they were really cool.
The fact that you guys were so hands-on, I think, is important. And, we don't have our own kids. And I pray for parents because we didn't grow up with all of that.
This is
access.
We grew up with a lot, but now, bro,
it's all at your fingertips, and so much can come at them. And the bullying alone on social media and things like that.
A whole other level.
It's just a whole other world. But it sounds like you guys did the right thing. Keeping your hands on it.
We did, but first of all, it's the grace of God. I can't even say
Amen.
It's like God was there. But the conversations now are a lot different than when they were younger. Because now it's like, yo, I know you have access to this, but do you really want this?
Right.
Do you want to go down this road? This will take you.
Well, as young adults now, you have to more so guide. They're going to have to make their own choices, but they feel comfortable to come to you. That's a blessing to talk about stuff.
Yeah. How was that transition for you though? Because you got one in college, which is pretty much a significant, definitive transition from we tell you what to do versus maybe you might not want to do that, but sure
Suggest.
thing. Yeah. How did y'all, I guess, approach that transition for the oldest? Because that's well underway now. Yeah.
That was rough. He went away to college. He was our baby boy. I mean, and then he came back the first summer. And was just like, yo, who is this dude?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, he's running his whole life.
The first year's a lot.
It was like, buddy. But now he seems to be, coming back to, and he's starting to get to know himself and understand, and our roles as, parents, everything. So I think it's cool. It's been really good. Like,
that's what's up.
So yeah, but it's a transition, man. And I don't think nobody ever really prepares you for that.
Yeah. Did you and Robin have distinct conversations about that? Like how to let go of the kid version of parenting to transition into the young adult parenting? Like, did y'all have many conversations about that, or was it more?
It's like we just get thrown into the frying pan.
Yeah.
Because we don't, there's no way to really prepare for it, and I was watching it. I was like, I hope they don't sting him in his head.
No, I think it's a piece of
mosquito.
Oh, I thought it was a mosquito.
No.
I was
trying to get bit up. Something just fell in the thing, and everybody saw
and
it.
Kelley, I would hate to see her jump over the table. And smack
I
you
would.
in the head.
I would.
So,
that's kind of our thing.
To protect my
baby.
baby.
I'm totally into the head smack. Yeah, it gets us going, bro.
Right.
So inappropriate.
I mean, you got your thing, we got our thing. Like, I'm into the getting smacked in the head. No shame. No shame.
Dave is like, and
Too much-
leave you guys
too much
alone now.
information.
You didn't want to know that we're head smackers?
Yo, it's hilarious. When the
Marriage.
conversation goes left.
Right? Exactly. Marriage.
You were saying it's something that just kind of like came, naturally or so?
Yeah. You had to, because we didn't know, we couldn't prepare for any of that,
Was there a moment where you realized, okay, we are now in a different phase? Or was that just not really at the forefront of?
Yeah, I think we said, okay, now we got to change from, this is not our little boy anymore. Now this is a grown man who's finding his way in life. And so, we had to find that balance. And I think because we realized that, it's been a beautiful relationship, because it's like, now I get it. Like, I got to back off because I'm dad. So I'm like, you should do this. You should do this.
Yeah.
And he finally had to say, hey, man, you got to let me breathe. You can't be on my neck.
I mean, it sounds like y'all have a very close and intimate relationship with your kids, though. And, I know most parents strive for that.
Yeah.
But when it's actually in place, like when you've been pouring out love and respect, I think you'll see it a little bit later. But because I don't have my own young ones, I don't know what I don't know. But I do know that, when I see parents like yourself that are communicative and that are open and that actually share and not just bully and be like, no, stop, sit down, shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems to be that as you transition through different phases, that love prevails.
It does.
Seems like a big difference. Yeah.
You said something when we went out to eat one time. It was so funny. You said in our house we were all just there. We all just sat in the same room. We were there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Then I went home. I was like, yo, why is it that we all are in the same room all the time and we just sit there? We on our phones together, all in the same room, or we watch a show together.
Yeah.
So when you said that, it just made me be like, dang, we do that too. I didn't realize that.
But the reason I brought stuff like that up is because I probably was in my mid-20s, maybe late 20s, when I realized that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens a lot, but there's a lot of different types of family dynamics.
Yeah.
And what I thought was normal, like eating dinner together.
Right.
For us, that was a normal thing. And even as I got older, my mom would implore us to make time during the week to be, because you get older, you get the ability to drive, you be gone.
Right.
And my mom would pull us back in and be like, yo, at least sometime we got to reconnect. We got to be together, whatever. And now when we go home for holidays and vacations, something that Kelley and I noticed this is a little bit different about our families. Like we kind of move together. We're either all outside or all in the living room or all in the kitchen, whatever, right? Her family, they have a lot more like independent moments. Okay. We'll have like breakfast, for example, and then the mom will be reading the book. Papa's watching football. Her brother and their family are talking about something at a table, whatever. And the two of us will kind of change who we're kind of chilling with. And then eventually we'll end up somewhere together, but they do a little bit more
independent,
right?
Movement, yeah.
And that's just different. And it didn't feel like a negative when I was learning them. That's just their thing.
Everybody has different dynamics.
Moment. I have my moment.
Right.
And I'm like, well, who do I choose? I love all these people. Am I supposed to go outside? I'm supposed to go with y'all? She going to the store? I won't go to the store.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, different strokes, different folks. Yeah. So one last question, because Kelley keeps looking at her phone. So
I know you gotta go. I have a meeting.
Last question. Advice to music makers. Mm-hmm. So you got our song. There was some, basic, chordal progressions, nothing elaborate, but a little bit. And she explained what she wanted to do. Do you just jump into it, or do you have a process? How would you advise someone to find the special places in their creation?
So I try to find out exactly what the person is looking for.
Yeah.
And then I take that and I try to marry what's going on today with what they want to do, so that it's still competitive in the market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, but my main thing is finding out up front what is their vision.
Yeah.
Because
you're very good at that.
Because I don't want to get into something and they be like, dude, that's not what I asked you to do. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that. Really,
so you spend a lot of time communicating first.
A lot of time.
And we had a lot of email exchanges because I think I gave you 8 bars of this, and then 8 bars of that, and then 8. That's very me.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I find too that, and I know you got to go, so I'm gonna try to speed this up 2.0. So one of the things that is when singers come to the studio and they say, well, I'm getting ready to start this project and I want to, I want to sit with you and kind of just talk about everything. Yeah. A lot of those sessions end up being counseling sessions. And people end up crying.
I told you.
Yep.
It ain't just me.
No, yeah.
I've shared this with her a lot. Yeah. Like, so you need to add / psychologist.
Right. As the producer.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. Because when I was young, God specifically said to me, I want you to write and produce and minister to the artists that you write and produce for.
Yeah.
So many times people come in and they come in so broken and it's like, I wasn't even here for that. I thought we was getting ready to get into this music session. Wow. And next thing I know, we haven't done any music at all.
Bro,
but it's important. It's important to lay that foundation, out. And then now I really understand your heart and your mind. Yeah. Now we can go into this music thing.
Yeah. It's amazing that God said that to you. Yeah. And that's really the power of music, right? Because it is a healing force. It is a transformative force.
Right.
So when you're helping someone cultivate it, heck yeah, you're a therapist.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And I've read that Babyface does the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just recently read that, and he said he goes into the studio and it's a lot of crying. And then finally, after the crying comes some of the best songs that
right.
you've ever,
I can see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
So, So I say that, man. And I just say also for young producers, learn to play instruments. Learn to play instruments.
I just had that conversation with a young cat that's, a bit of a mentee. And he was talking to me about what are the big overarching things I need to be focusing on, and rap more than just making more tracks.
Right.
And I was like, you need to invest time also in building your musicality.
Yeah.
Your production skills and your musicality have a lot of overlap, but they are separate.
Yeah.
Like if you can't produce a song for a simple accompaniment instrument and whatever the top line is, then it's only so strong.
Yeah.
But if that song can be done on an acoustic guitar or on a piano with the person singing it, it's a lot of strength, and it still feels amazing. It's a lot of strength in that. You ever heard what's her name? Amy Winehouse's acoustic version of Valerie?
No, I gotta listen to that.
Bro. And they had the one with the upbeat drums and all that stuff. It's great. But there's a version they did where it's basically like a cajon, a tambourine, I think a bass player and vocals and a Wurlitzer or a Rhodes or something like that. And it feels great.
Yeah.
Simple accompaniment, dope vocals, dope Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
That's the version I like.
I'm going to listen to that when I get
It's good stuff.
And that's how you know it's a great song. Exactly. As opposed to a great production, which is also wonderful.
Yeah.
But when you can strip away all the production elements and it stands alone, it is a great song.
Rick Rubin talks about that a lot as well. But I think I heard that first in an interview. I think Quincy Jones talked about it or something like that. But it was one of the legends was talking about, if it doesn't start with a great song, it can only go so far. Even if you're amazing at what you do, if you're really trying to build on sand, you might have a really cool looking house, but
And I want to underscore what you were saying about musicality, because
don't listen to her.
And I don't.
Sorry.
I don't play instruments well. I play piano and a little bass guitar, enough to get an idea out. But I love working with musicians. And there's a difference between a producer I've worked with before that was not a musician, where, I remember this story. He gave me a track and it was cool. I started writing a top line, but then I really wanted to hear a change, right? Into the bridge or whatever. And you say that to one of you guys and you start playing changes.
Right.
He could not play a change. And I was like, this track is now boring to me. Like I needed to do something different. So when you go to a piano player, a bass player, a guitar player, they understand those things.
They do.
And I think it absolutely adds to your producer capability.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, I had one more thing to say to that.
Sure, go for it.
Do it.
And I'm trying to remember what it was now because it was so important. Oh, if you read the trends, you can start to see. So AI is taking over, right? Or is about to try to take over. And people are going to need to see you playing your instrument and see
They're
you
going to need to see the human.
Right. So that's where content is going to start coming in more. They're going to start listening for. I went to a jam session the other day, all young people singing. Everybody that got up sang a Sam Cooke type song. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because they understand too, we got to do real music. We have to do, and I'm not putting down any, because Lord knows I do it all. But
yeah,
but
I feel you.
But that type of thing, and these young people are starting to look for. They need the real again, because there's so much fake out here.
I think you're right. Yep, absolutely.
So I just suggest, like, go out, learn some instruments, man. Don't just take something from output and try to copy and paste it.
Yep.
You know,
it's a big deal.
Because AI will take over that.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly, and it's coming.
Skynet.
Yep.
Yo, so we're gonna cut to give Kelley her beautiful out. You want to continue? You got more time?
Yeah, I got a little.
Chop it up a little bit. So we're gonna continue with the amazing Dave Stevens. All the whole list. Here we go. Music producer, musician, father, husband, comedian, actor, music businesser, spa music maker. Amazing friend, studio counselor and psychiatrist, all of them. So many years, right? We're grateful for him. He produced Scales, our next single coming out October 27th.
Yes.
Yo, let's go.
Yes.
27th.
I'm ready.
And it was great. Good time with him. We're going to continue. Kelley's going to go. So we say goodbye to the beautiful, wonderful Kelley Nicole, who has to be in the meeting. So whoever she's in the meeting with, understand that you took her from this. We were having a good time.
It's all about
Gumbolaya Podcast, C.A. Purcell. Love y'all. Love yourselves. Be back in a sec.
Praise and production.